Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I wanted to talk to you about the tricks the narcissist may use when doing the smear campaign on you. And why it's so important. If you suspect someone of being a narcissist or toxic in any way, to keep new friends or someone you're dating away from these people. The goal is to be able to get any toxic person out of your life. But sometimes it's just not possible at a given moment. And the tactic the narcissist will use is they will gain your trust by being very nice over a long period of time. They will appear to be honest. They will give you information and tell you things that seem to check out and to be correct. This will make you think the narcissist has really learned their lesson and has turned over a new leaf. However, the reality of what's going on is this narcissist is setting us up big time. They are biding their time. For when an opportunity presents itself to ruin your life yet once again. You see, my mother was a master. And still is to this day a master at this. Susie was very good at this too. But my mother was the most gifted at this as I've ever seen in a narcissist. And this is something my mother loved to do. She would gain my trust over a long period of time. And I would then bring a friend over to the house. Or at a get-together. Or I would bring by a young lady I was dating at the time. And what my mother would do is wait for me to get up and go to the restroom, leaving her to be alone with this friend or woman I was dating. And what my mom would do is lean over to them and say, "Is it okay if I get your number? I'm going to be planning a surprise birthday party for James. And I know it's not for another 8 months. But I wanted it to be special." Well, what do you think happened? This friend or woman I was dating would think, "Wow, James' mother is so nice." And they would provide their number. And in the same breath keep it a secret from me they provided my mother with their number because of this surprise party my mom was planning. Which always ended up being a dud. Even if one was thrown. But in between then, my mother would call this person and say, "Hi. It's James' mother. Remember we met at that party?" And my friend or the woman I was dating would say, "Oh, did you want to discuss the birthday?" And my mother would either say, "Yes. What did you have in mind?" Or discuss all kinds of options building up the hopes in this person of a grand party that never existed. And then she would shift topics. Because we all know my mother didn't call for a surprise party. Or she would just say, "No, because the party isn't for a good while." But she just wanted to call and say hello. I know, very odd. But the narcissist, or in this case my mother, would take advantage of the fact people just want to be nice. And though this is an odd situation, not many people would say, "I don't feel comfortable talking to you behind your son's back." My mom would then slip in things about me that were lies. On how she was scared of me. And how we didn't have a good relationship before and how we have a better one now. Because somehow I've changed and am trying to be nice to her. And all this person can think about is, what's the problem? James' mother seems so nice. Where would anyone have a problem with this woman? Then my mother would offer this person junk she had in our home. Because my mom was and still is a hoarder. But my mom would talk up this item like it was the Hope Diamond. Only for this person to realize it was utter crap once they arrived to pick it up. Pick it up, mind you, when I wasn't home. Because my mom would tell them not to tell me. Otherwise I would get really upset and she would be scared. All I can say is this is what these people do. And sadly my mother did this to many friends I had as a child and as a young man. And many of the normal women I had a chance to meet and date. It was always a whisper. "Hey, can you write down your number? I'm planning a surprise party for James." And after that my mother would start calling these people over the course of a year or sometimes even longer without me knowing it. I would hang out with a friend not knowing they were talking to my mom on the phone the same day behind my back. And finally a few of these people confided in me. They felt weird going over to my mom's house accepting her junk gifts, and having her cook for them, and taking her calls every week for the last year. And they also felt uncomfortable hanging out with me anymore because of all the things that were said. And even though I was able to prove my innocence in many of these cases, the friendships and dating relationships were just too strained by my mother to ever repair. These people noticed our home was a toxic mess and they wanted nothing to do with it. And I never would see many of these people again. However, a small group of them became short-term flying monkeys. But even they, at some point, disappeared from the scene forever. So the thing I've learned is, never ever 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 bring a friend or someone you're dating around a narcissist in your life. Don't slip and mention a name of a new friend, or a place where you met this new friend, or where you might have got a new job. These people will call and hunt these people down, acting like they have the best of intentions, only to obtain their contact information and slander you behind your back for a long period of time, until these new friends just bail out of your life altogether. If I had $1 for every time my mother pulled the "Can I have your number? I'm planning a surprise party for James" crap, I would be rich. Now my mom did use the same tactics many other narcissists tend to use. If she would see someone I knew at the store, she would talk to them, and throw little things in there that would make them hate me, and make them feel sorry for her. But my mom seemed to enjoy fooling me into believing she was reformed somehow. So I would drop my guard and bring people I knew around her, so she could pull the "I'm planning a surprise party for James" bit. So she could get their number and call this person at will. Now thinking about it, she would even do this if she bumped into these people at the store as well. The main thing I could come to terms with back then was it was going to keep happening, and that no matter how nice she was to act, I could never trust her. There are no friends for her to bump into at the store anymore if I don't tell her who they are, and if I stop bringing them around her. Now if you are younger and live with them, you are sadly at their mercy. But once you are out, stay out. And if you have limited contact, where you speak on the phone once a month, never ever reveal anything about yourself that's important, such as company name you work for, a friend's name, the name of a person you're dating. Heck, don't mention you're dating anyone at all, because all this person is doing is data mining. They are trying to get information from you so they can find these new people in your life, and so they can turn them against you. But the greater lesson is, it's okay to keep your information safe from people you don't know very well. It's okay to be vague about another friend when talking to, let's say, an acquaintance you met at swim class. You don't know. This person in swim class might be a really good person, but they might be crazy and disordered, and might look up this person you're talking about and contact them behind your back. You would be surprised how often this happens, and happens even more so because of the internet, Facebook and all the other things out there. When in doubt, be careful with your private information, no matter it be a stranger, or the narcissist in your life that is now acting reformed. Do not buy the lie. They aren't reformed. They can never be reformed. It's all a trick to bring you down. And at the time I didn't know better, so I kept falling for it, because I wanted a normal life so bad. But now, because I know better, I do better. And remember, meeting new people can be a very good thing, as I talked about in my last video. But protecting yourself is also a very good thing. Healthy people learn this skill since they were kids. Now it's time you learn it and practice it. Practice your boundaries. You don't owe strangers certain details to things. And a good healthy friend will respect you for the boundaries you have. Like I always say, knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we can lead happy and healthy lives. Until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.